What I found out, Jesus was very thorough, and he was very thorough about how he went about his ministry, applying detail upon detail to every of the works that were recorded to his name. Okay, so in Luke chapter 18, from verse 35 to 42, we have a story of the man popularly known as the blind Bartimaeus, who learned that Jesus was in the neighborhood, and so he cried out, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And the people tried to shut him down, that is, those around him, those who were thronging around Jesus, tried to shut him down, all right, so he would not disturb the master. But he cried out the more, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And eventually he got the attention of Jesus. And Jesus said, bring him to me. The man was brought to Jesus, and Jesus asked him, what would you have me do for you? And he replied, I would like to have my sight back. And immediately the man had his sight back according to his faith. All right, Jesus told him, according to your faith, you have your sight back. And immediately his sight was restored, and he went about rejoicing and all of that. So there are a number of lessons in that particular scenario I would like to share with you today. So the first lesson there is this: people will always have need. Do not forget that. People will always have needs. Those around you, including family members, will always have needs. You see, we live in a world where man has created systems of aid, of help, to try to alleviate and possibly terminate the problems of man. But have you noticed that in spite of all of that, all those organizations, for example, the United Nations has several, if you like, sub-organizations under it. You have the WHO, you have the UNESCO, you have the UNICEF, you have the United Nations Food Program, and all of those. What exactly are they there for? They're trying to see how they can reduce or possibly terminate the problems of man. But while they are there, and for as long as they've been around, man continues to have problems. And the second lesson is this: learn to have self-control. Do not be quick to want to respond to the needs of the people around you. People will call you, people will message you, people will reach out to you, people will come around you asking for help. But it does not mean that you immediately jump at the opportunity to render that help. Have some self-control, because without exercising self-control, even you may get it wrong while you try to render that help. Jesus restrained. Even when Jesus stood and the blind Bartimaeus was able to get his attention, Jesus did not rush to him to say, okay, I see you're blind, receive your sight. No, Jesus stood and said, bring him to me. He exercised self-control with all the powers that he had and he could have commanded. He exercised self-control, and so he stood, but he said, bring him to me. Now, the third lesson, and that is the most important of them all, Jesus asked him, what do you want me to do for you? I see that you've called my attention for help. You've dialed 911. You've screamed, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. So you're before me, and here I am. What would you want me to do for you? Jesus knew that the man was blind. After all, he was the one who asked for the blind man to be brought to him. So he knew the man was blind. He could see clearly that the man was blind. What else would the man have needed if not to have his sight back? But Jesus held himself, having exercised initial control, all right, and then he asked him, what would you want me to do for you? So it is important that even when people have your attention eventually, you allow them speak for themselves. Do not be quick to assume what their need or their want may be in that moment. Do not be quick to want to jump to their rescue, because you may even get it wrong. You may think they need A, but C or D or E might even be their actual need. Jesus saw the man who was blind, yet he asked him, "What would you want me to do for you?" And then Jesus needed him to be specific, because in that moment, truly the man was blind. But what if blindness, what if restoring his sight was not his priority? What if food was his problem? What if shelter was the reason he called and screamed, "Jesus, have mercy on me"? What if the man even needed arms? Because don't forget, he sat by, he's been there for a while, collecting or asking for alms. So what if that was what he even wanted Jesus to do for him? What if it was just fine to be in that state of blindness so he could keep receiving alms from people? Because there are times that people come to us, they're screaming, "Help, help, 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 help." And we just perceive, or we can see that clearly this person needs clothing, this person needs food, this person needs footwears and all of that. That's what you're thinking, but that may not be their actual need, may not be their actual want. So allow them speak for themselves, and also let them be specific. So Jesus asked him, "What would you want me to do for you?" And the man said, "I would want my sight back. That's just all I want. I may have several other needs, but I would like to have my sight back." And Jesus said to him, "There you have it." Which brings us to the final lesson to draw from this scenario. Grant the request once it has been made known to you. Do not forget, yesterday and in the previous episodes, we said from scriptures, do not hold back what is good and what is due someone when it is in your position to do so. And do not tell someone, "Go and return the following day or next time and I will give it to you." As long as you have it in your possession, give. All right. So when someone has presented their need to you, just go ahead and give, as long as it is in your possession to do so. Another caution to apply: Jesus had the power and the ability to restore sight to the man, and he did as he was requested. If Jesus did not have the ability, he probably would have just told him, "Okay, well, I'm sorry, right now I'm not in a position to assist you," and that would just be fine. So when someone approaches you for help and it is not within your power to do so, please be bold enough to let them know. Be polite enough to let them know you are not in a position to give them that which they have asked for. That would be better, in my opinion, than going around trying to beg or borrow, all right, just to meet another person's need. Do not forget, even scriptures say, as long as it is in your power to do so, give. As long as it is in your power to do so, give. So these lessons are really important, because sometimes someone may come to you and say, "I am in need of money," or "I need help." So you be bold enough to ask them, be polite enough to ask them, "What kind of help do you need?" If they say, "I want money," or "I need money," how much money do you need? Because you won't just dip your hands in your pocket and scoop out everything you have, all the money you have in your pocket, and give to them. So how much do you need? What do you need it for, if I may ask? That way, you are giving them the chance to be specific and to ask for themselves, all right, what really is their need. Very, very important. And so what are the takeaways here? Number one, You save yourself when you apply the principles earlier mentioned. You save yourself the embarrassment of giving help that is not solicited. Unsolicited help, when it is given, may end up in an embarrassment or an embarrassing situation that even you would not like to be a part of. And I've equally been in that position. There are times I've seen someone in need and I've gone like, oh, okay, I would like to help. And the person goes like, hmm. The other takeaway is this: you save yourself the embarrassment of, all right, giving what was not requested for. You also save yourself the stress of giving what will not be appreciated. No one loves to be in a position where they offer help and assistance and it is not being appreciated. And that is what you get from being, from offering unsolicited generosity. So when you apply all these lessons and you add the takeaways, then you realize that giving becomes quite easy, because we will not want to, because of the urge and the importance of giving, jeopardize our own self-respect and also the peace and the joy that comes from giving. So as much as possible, try to avoid being involved in giving unsolicited generosity. Really, really important. But as long as the request has been made known to you and it is within your power to do so, then you're free to grant that request. And as you do so, as you accept to apply these principles, may the blessing, the joy, the peace that come from giving rest upon you and upon all that you do, now and always. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. God bless you.